turning up for this evening's section. I thank you for all the great trainers who had been putting the group through the strategy on daily basis. I'm seeing what you're doing. Every day you sacrifice to teach the people, to groom the people to understand trading as you explain our strategy. I thank all the trainers and the efforts you are making. And Mr. Arafat in particular, you're always on almost all the Zoom explaining and helping the group every now and then. You will be highly rewarded. God will bless you. Your trade will go well. And every one of you. Tonight, we have something important to discuss. In addition to explaining our strategy, each time I come on the Zoom, I will always explain our strategies. We have added Martingale to the AI DCA Pro we are having. They are similar in nature with little differences. Each time I come on the Zoom, I'm going to explain the strategies, expatiate on them, and talk about other things. Today in particular, I am going to talk about what we call edge mode. Edge mode, or call it edging. Edge or edging, anyone you want to call it. I'm going to be talking about that today. It is spelled Hedge. Hedge. Can we all spell hedge in the chat section? Hedge. Can we spell edge? That is what we want to discuss. Are we following? I can't see you spell edge. I want to see you spell yes, exactly. Yes, that is what we want to discuss today, in addition to our class, to our usual explanation of the strategy. We are going to look at, first and foremost, the edge as a risk management technique. Edge as a risk management technique. Edge as a risk management technique as a subtopic. Then we are also going to look at edge also as a profit making technique. Okay, so you can see that edge has a dual function in this respect. Edge can also serve as a risk management technique particularly, but it can also be useful as a profit making technique. Do you understand? We are going to dwell so much on that as the lecture for today. But before we go into that properly, we are going to share the screen and explain the strategy for the benefit of those who are coming on the Zoom for the first time, or for the benefit of those who are yet to understand the strategy and the workings and why we use the parameters we use. I'm going to do a brief rundown of that, okay, of the two strategies, the AI DCA strategy and the Martingale strategy, so that we'll understand them. Then I will quickly switch to talking about edge or edging. All right. Generally, you can see that in trading, I told us the last time, patience is the greatest ingredient in trading. Having the attitude of patience is a very big ingredient in trading. You cannot be a successful trader until you are a patient trader. Okay? You cannot be a successful trader until you are a patient trader. And that is why the last time we were on this Zoom, I told us that if you have the attitude of the money you're making as free money, I had a lot of arguments about that. Please mute your mic as you come in. I had some arguments about that, how the money is free and all of that. the picture I was trying to paint is not because you did not work for your capital that you are using. And that makes the money you're making from you trading free money. No, that's not the idea. What I was trying to convey is the fact that if you have the mentality that this money that is coming, that I'm getting here is free, then you will be patient. Even in the week you do not make profit, you will wait, knowing that the next week you will also make profit, provided your capital is intact. If you understand what happened last week, and from last week to this week, we have not really made good profit because the market had a very big correction. Okay, the market had a very extensive correction to the point that most of the coins, most of the assets dropped by over 25%. Assets like SROP dropped by 25%. Assets like Solana dropped by 22-23% down. Assets like Ethereum dropped by 12-13%. Litecoin, the same thing, 12-13%. BCH, the same thing, 12-13%, and so on and so forth. So because of that market correction, we were not able to make a good profit within the week leading to today. Okay, the market was slow, the market was down because we are trading long positions. However, even with the down trend of the market, we had very minimal floating losses compared to what we are used to. Okay, we had very minimal floating losses. We were trading safely. There was no panic. There was no tension. Everybody was just calm. And today, the market reversed. Almost all the coins on floating losses are out. Litecoin is out, as in LTC is out, Ethereum is out, BCH is out. I don't think there's anybody that is still on BCH, Ethereum, and LTC that is still on floating loss. I don't think so, except you are not following our strategy. I don't think there's anyone that is still on these three coins that is still on floating loss. We might still have some people on floating loss on Solana and SROP, which it is very minimal because they are coming up very fast to clear. Now the profits have started coming, and it's going to continue for a while. Then we'll have another corrections again, and so on and so forth. What am I trying to say? Patience. Patience. We did not make money for some days, but our capital was intact. And now we have started making profit. We are back again in making profit. Okay. That is why I said our strategy emphasizes more on protection of capital, the safety of your funds. That is what our strategy emphasizes more, because we believe that he that fights today and runs away lives to fight another day. He that do not make profit today and has his capital lives to make profit tomorrow. That is what. Yes, who is there? Oh, all right, I'll get back to you later. Just cover it. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. He said dinner is ready. They have to wait when I'm done with the class. All right. Like I was saying, so that mentality is what keeps you going as a trader. We are back. We are making our profit. Gradually, we are going. Like I said, and like I posted some time ago, this strategy that we are having is capable of doubling your money at the end of the month if you want it to double it. Okay, it's just for you to divide the initial position by the amount you want. Right now, we are dividing the initial position by 10. If you want to divide it by 5, you make more money. Who is making that noise? Please mute your mic as you come in. Right now, we are dividing the initial position by 10. But if you want to make more money, if you can take the risk, you can divide it by 5. You can divide it by 4. You can divide it by 3. You can divide it by 2. By any figure you want. You can divide it by 1. Just know that you are the one taking the risk. We know why we are dividing the initial position by 10. If you choose to divide by 5, if you choose to divide by 8, if you choose to divide by 3, by 2, and so on and so forth, it's your own responsibility, it's your own decision. Okay? And with that, you can make more money. You can make more money. It's still safe to an extent. It's still safe to an extent. Yeah. But whatever is the consequences, you have to bear it. But we have chosen not to rush the market, not to make 200% in a month. We are choosing not to make all of that in a month, double our capital and all of that, even though we have the ability, even though the system has the ability to give us. But we are choosing to tread with caution and take it slowly, gradually, knowing that the market is always here. Crypto is going nowhere. uTrading is also here for us several years to come. So why are we in a hurry to make all the money today and get ourselves into danger? All right. So that is what I'm talking about. Patience, patience, and patience. You will have to have that virtue called patience for you to excel in this trading. Okay. So if you come a day you don't make profit, if you come 2 days you don't make profit, if you are new on this platform and for a day, for 2 days, you don't make profit, you don't need to worry. It is our strategy. You don't need to worry. The profit will come. The profit will come. The most important thing is that we have been able to secure your capital that is always there to generate the profit. Okay. All those panics we've always had during the time of the dump, when the market dumps, we have been panic and running, looking for how to top up money on our capital and all the. Now it is like a thing of the past because we are trading now with proper knowledge. We are trading now with caution. Okay. Now, having said that, I will switch into sharing my screen and I will explain the strategy. Then we'll go into discussing edging. All right. I want you to be careful and pay proper attention as I share my screen. You have a question, you keep it at the end of the teaching. We'll hear you out. Now, let me go straight to our strategy to explain it. Sorry, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Yes, members, let us kindly wait as Mr. Philip is
Okay.
sharing the screen.
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. I can't see it. Yes, I can see it. We can see it now.
Okay, sorry for the delay. I think
But you have stopped sharing. You have stopped. Maybe you share again. Mr. Philip, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm trying to share again.
Okay, it's okay. Mr. Philip, can I share from my side? If your side has failed, can I?
Okay, check now.
Yes, we can see it now. We can see it.
Okay. Okay. All right. We can continue, right?
Yes, we can continue, Mr. Philip.
All right. Okay, sorry for the delay. Now, this is our strategy. I'm going to run down our strategy, how it is operated, so that for those who are new and for those who are yet to understand, we'll be able to pick up. Then I'll quickly go to the edge mode I want to discuss today properly. Okay, let me pick a particular coin to talk about here. Let me just pick a Dodge to use for the explanation. Now, what you do from the very beginning, you pick your coin. We are using, I'm discussing AI DCA Pro. Okay, AI DCA Pro, the second bot, AI DCA Pro. You click on it. After clicking on it, then you select the asset, the coin you want to trade. Okay, if the coin is not reflected here on your favorite, you have to search for the coin and click on it. In this case, you are using Dodge as example for discussion. Now, when you click on the coin, you are going to come to this interface. When you come to this interface, we are using the DCA. So you click on the DCA. The reason we're using the DCA is because it enables us to modify, to edit everything that is here. All the information that is here, all the parameters, we have the opportunity to edit them. If you use the AI DCA, you might not be able to edit most of the parameters that is here. So with this DCA, it allows you to edit everything that is here. It's like you're doing your manual trading. Okay. So you use the DCA. Then in this case, you use a long position. It's because this period we are trading long position. The reason is because trade is a dynamic thing. The market is a very dynamic thing. Okay. The market does not stay at a point. The market evolves. It changes every now and then. So the market has its seasons. There are seasons of bear market. There are seasons of bull market, and so on and so forth. Okay. So when you understand the season of the market you are in, at that point, it will enable you to know the direction of the market to go. Okay, like I decided we should use long position. A lot of you may not understand why we are trading long this period. You'll be like, why don't we add short and all of that? I have my reason why I said we should trade long position. Take for example, when we started this strategy, when we began, Ethereum was trading at 2.5, 2.6, 2,500, 2,600 and something dollars. That was the price of Ethereum as at the time we are using the strategy. Now imagine if we had not switched to long position and we were trading also short, and you have Ethereum on short position that has not cleared, and Ethereum moved the way it moved up to the point Ethereum is over $4,240 today. You can imagine the level of floating loss you would have accumulated, you would have gathered from the movement of Ethereum from that spot. If you are not privileged to come out of the market and Ethereum continues to go up and you are on short position, you can imagine how much it would have carried along to follow you. You see, so because of our understanding of the current market that we are entering into the altcoin season, the period when the altcoins will skyrocket, we decided to work with long positions now. When we follow the market and we understand the changes in the market, we are going to make adjustments too. We are going to use indicator direction, which is going to give us both short and long simultaneously. Okay, it's going to give us both short and long. But for now, we are trading on the long because the season of the market that we are now, we believe is the bullish period, is the altcoin season. Even though other people have their own analysis about the market, but our own analysis tells us that we are going into the bullish market, we are going into the altcoin season, the phase 2 of the altcoin season. Okay, so that's why we are trading long position. In case you want to ask, why are we trading long? Why don't we add short? We are afraid of adding short because when we enter the heat of the altcoin season, any little short you have is going to give you a problem. You can imagine a situation whereby a particular coin flies upwards by 80% or 100% or 60%. It implies that if you're on a short position on that coin, you will be 60% in minus. Okay, so that is the fear that we decided to use long positions. Now, so if you click on long, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to face with your leverage. So we are using the maximum leverage. So when you click on leverage, you set your leverage to the maximum leverage, the highest leverage. In this case, we have 75. On this coin is 75. So you click on it and you save. Click on save. So you get your leverage. That's how you set your leverage. Haven't set your leverage, you look down. The next thing you're going to see is the K-line period, the period of the market trading. You have a couple of them. You have 5 minutes, you have 15 minutes, you have 1 hour, you have 4 hours. For now, we are using 15 minutes. So you maintain the default, which is 15 minutes. You save it. Then you go to the opening conditions. You click on it. You have immediate, open immediately. You have a trigger, a price trigger. You have auto and the rest of them. Now, open immediately means if you click it, it means the bot will enter the market immediately. We buy the coin immediately. We take the position immediately. Okay, that's what open immediately means, like this, like it implies. Then if you talk about price trigger means you have to put it at the price you want. For example, if you want to buy Ethereum at 5,000 or 4,800, you have to set it to 4,800. It is when it gets to 4,800 that the bot will pick the trade. So the bot picks the trade at the market you set. Okay, so you can also use this to pick your trade if you want. For example, if you want to do short position, you can put the trade, you can put Bitcoin to 125,000. When it gets to 125,000, just know that you have picked short position. You are saying that at that point it's supposed to be coming down. Do you understand? So that is how you set this. You set according to the price you want to trigger. if you see that the Ethereum is going down, like it's going down, and you want to set the price trigger, you can set Ethereum, for example, to for 3,500, 3,800. If for any reason the market goes down to 3,800, it will trigger for you. And when it begins to go up back to 4,000, you are in profit. So you can set that for yourself. If you want to trade in that manner, you can set that. With that, you don't need to wait for the robot to peak at its own time. You've already determined the price you want the robot to peak. Okay? You've already determined the price you want the robot to peak. Then the other one we are using is the auto. So if you click on the auto, what you are simply saying is that I'm on Zoom. What I'm simply saying is that you want the bot to pick it at its own time. When the bot has analyzed the market and is suitable for it to enter, the bot enters the market to pick at its own time for you. That's why we are using auto. So we are using auto. So you pick auto and you click on save on auto. Okay. Now on this auto, it means it's going to buy at its own time. Then after that, we're going to talk about the mass order. The mass order, we are using three. Mass order three, 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 three. After mass order, you're going to come down to the indicators. The indicators, we use short term, the very last one. Click on indicator, short term, and save it. Okay. What the short term means is that if you look at it, is there, say expected to take profit within a day. So short term enables you to take profit on daily basis, on daily basis. Some of them it allows you to take profit in 3 days, in 7 days, but this short term is the permission for the bot to take profit on daily basis. Okay. So you keep it on short term. Then remember the mass order is 3. The mass order is 3. Then the size multiple is 1. So you click on size multiple and you make your adjustments to 1. Make the second adjustment to 1 and click save. Excuse me. Then the price gap. The price gap we are using, the first price gap is 15%. 15%, 1.5. The second price gap is 25%. 25%. The last time I took time to explain this very well. I won't dwell so much on it. We're using 15% because we want the market to dump very well before we take the next position. I have told you the disadvantage of taking position very closer to the price gap. Okay, to the price gap. I have told you the advantage of taking position when the price gap is far away. So we have seen from our last experience on our 5 pairs that we are trading, we have seen that some of them were able to dump by 25, some of them dump by 22, like SROP and Solana, and the rest, BCH, LTC, and the Ethereum, they dumped by 12, 13%. So we decided to patch our first price gap at 15%. So if the market can dump by 20, the market can dump by 20. And even as we go into the heat of the bull run, it is expected the market will even dump higher, because a particular market, particular coin that has gone up by, let's say, 60%, 80% up, it is expected, the correction is expected that at least it should dump up to 20% or more. That is just the thinking, the idea. So this is why we are using the 15 price gap. And we are taking the second one at 25 price gap. So what we are saying in essence is that by 15 and 25, we are saying the market has to drop up to 40% down for us to take the second price gap, for us to take the second mass order to trigger. So the particular coin that has dumped by 40%, we are saying it has really dumped for us to take proper position. Okay. Then after this, we'll leave the coin to continue to go in our expected direction. So that is why we are using this. So you do 15 and 25 and you okay it, then you move ahead to extra conditions, extra add condition. So on extra, you click on it, you see none, you see auto, you see UTR signal, you see UTR trend. We are using none. What you're saying here in essence is that in taking a second position, in taking additional position, I don't want the robot to use signal. I don't need signal to take the second position. So you are rejecting the signals here in taking a second position. You just want to take this position immediately. Okay, that's what it means by this none that we are using. You are saying, I want to take the second position immediately. I don't want to wait for signal before I take the next position. So we are using none. We are not using any of the signals here to take additional position. Okay, you are instructing the bot to take additional position immediately. So the moment it gets to your 15% price gap, it doesn't have to wait for signal. Okay, it doesn't have to wait for signal to take that position. It just takes the position immediately. All right. So you now click on known and click save. That's what that means. Then the next thing you go into is take profit settings. You click on your take profit setting and you customize your take profit. Here, I have advised that you use either one or two, depending on the condition. Use one or two, depending on the condition. I have advised that if you're using one as your take profit percentage, it has to be when the market is down, like the period that the market was down, you should adjust your take profit to one. If you were using two, the reason is that so that you can come out of the market earlier enough. Okay, you can come out of the market earlier enough. But if the market is pumping and going up like we are experiencing now, you can use 2% as take profit. Okay, the idea is that the market going up, it can go up beyond 2%. So 2% is not bad. It's possible for your particular coin or your asset to hit 2% for you. Okay, and using 2% also helps you, or using a higher take profit percentage also helps you to conserve your gas. It also helps to conserve gas. The man that uses 2% makes more money, uses less gas than the man that uses 0.6 or 1%. The man that uses higher take profit makes more money, uses less gas than the man that uses lower take profit percentage. Okay, so here you use your discretion between one or two. If you're the type that just want to continue with one as your take profit, either in the bearish market or bullish, you can also maintain one. There's no problem. If you also want to maintain two in both periods, it's not a problem. But use between one and two. Don't use 0.6. It is low. It's like you are making the profit, but if you calculate what you are giving out to the system through gas, you realize that you are not making much. You'll not be making much. If you're using anything less than 1%, if you're using 0.6, you will be making more money you'll be spending more on gas. So by the time you deduct what you have spent on gas, because each time you go into the market, each time the bot buys the asset, gas is deducted. The fee for gas is deducted. So if you don't make enough money that should cover the fee and you have more profit, you realize that you are just working for uTrading. Okay. So what I'm saying is that at least use the minimum of one as take profit, or you can even use two. All right. So you click on, you okay it. I haven't said that. Then you come down to the last one, which is the running settings, the period you want the market to run. You click on it and you see single and you see cycle by count and cycle by day. We are using cycle by day. By single, of course,
Are you ready, coverage?
you mean by single, you know, we mean the bot will buy only once and go off. Once it sells the coin, it will go off, it will not buy again. Once it sells to go up, to not buy again. But by cycle by day, which we are using, it means that it will buy continuously. So you can choose the day. You want 3 days, you want 5 days, 7 days, 15 days, 30 days. You are always using 30 days because we want the bot to roll it for 30 days for a month before starting afresh. So after 30 days, all the positions will be closed. Then you need to now start afresh to activate the bot again. So this is the very last one in this area. Then you save it. Then the last but not the least, you go up to set the initial position, which is the amount you want to use in buying the asset, the amount you want to place on the coin, your initial position. In this case, when we come here, like we have always said, our strategy says divide your capital by 8. Let's say, for example, using $100 as capital. If I'm using $100 as capital, I have to divide the $100 by 8. And what does it give me is what I will use here as my capital. Okay, whatever it gives me is what I'm going to use here as capital. So if I divide my by 10, sorry, I beg your pardon, by 10. You were using 8 before, but we adjusted to by 10. Okay, so we are using 10 now. We divide our capital by 10. I beg your pardon on that correction. Okay, we divide our capital by 10. So when you divide your $100 by 10, for example, if I'm using $100 as the case study here, when you divide it by 10, whatever it gives you is what you are going to place on the coin. So whatever, if you're using $1,000, you divide by 10 too. Okay, so if you say 100 divide by 10, you see you have $10. That is to say, what you want to put on this Dodge is $10. Now, how do I get $10 here? How do I get 10 USDT here where I'm seeing 5.8? All I need to do is to come to the left hand side and adjust. So where I have 24.4, I have to clear it and put a figure that will give me $10 on the right. So if 24.4 give me 5.8, then let me try to double it. Let me try 40. What does 40 gives me? Then once you click it, you move out of that place. So if 24.4 gives you that, what does 50 now give? What does 50 now give? I'm coming. All right. So now you can see that the more you are adjusting, the more it's going up. 24.8 is giving us 6 point something. Okay. Now let's look at 28. What does 28 now give? 28 is giving us 8.6. So if you continue 50, what does 50 now give? 50 is giving us 12 points. So it's already above our $10. Remember, our target is to get $10 here because our $100 we are using as a sample here. If you divide by 10, you have $10. So our target is to have $10 here. So if $50 is giving us 12, we need to adjust downwards. So let's take 40. What does 40 give us? 9.8. So a little bit up. 45. What does 45 give us? 11. So a little bit down. What does 43 give us? 10.5. All right, maybe 42 will give us what we really want. Okay, let's say 41. What does 41 give us? All right. We've gotten it accurately here. 41 is giving us 10.06. So with this, we can place this trade. When you get to this level, all you need to do is to click on launch. Once you click on launch, you will have the coin launch. I have clicked on launch. You can see the coin has been launched. Then once the coin is launched, you can see it will show you waiting. To show you waiting before it peaks. this is how we set the trade. I've taken a lot of time on this AI DCA Pro. Let me quickly run Martingale. Now, Martingale is similar to AI DCA Pro. Take note, Martingale is similar to AI DCA Pro. There is no difference except only two things. Those are the two things we want to discuss right now. So let's pick another trade. Let's pick BNB. Let's pick BNB and look at what BNB has. Now, let's go into it proper. You can see on Martingale, the same interface. You see AI Martingale and the Martingale itself. So we click on the Martingale, which is like the DCA. Then we are also going to use long. I'm not going to take long here because it's the same thing that we did with AI DCA Pro. I'm only going to show you the two different settings that we change. On the Martingale initial position, of course, you pick the maximum. It's always, if you're always using the maximum, you're only using the maximum. Then on K link is the same thing as 15%. Opening conditions is the same thing as auto. Okay. Then the next thing is mass order is 2. Remember, on AI DCA Pro, mass order is 3. But on Martingale, mass order is 2. Okay. We dropped a mass order here. So we're using 2. On the indicators and trading period, we're using 10. Short term, the same thing we're using on AI DCA Pro, short term too. Then on size multiple, these are the two differences between Martingale and AI DCA Pro. The difference is the mass order we are using 2, and the size multiple, we are using 2 instead of 1. On AI DCA Pro, we are using mass order 3 and size multiple 1. But on Martingale, we are using mass order 2 and size multiple 2. That is just the difference. Then another difference, then, okay, yes, that's the only difference. We are still maintaining price gap of 15 here. We're still maintaining price gap of 15 here. If possible here, take a higher price gap. If possible on this Martingale, take a higher price gap between 15 and 20, if possible, but it should not be less than 15. It should not be less than 15. You have more advantage if you take 18. If you take 20, you have more advantage, but it should not be less than 15. All right. Then we'll continue with the additional extra add condition. The same none. Then every other thing remains the same. Then on the price gap, the same thing I said. You can either use 1 or 2. You can either use 1 or you use 2, depending on your choice. So you can see that. Then we come to this the running setting. The same thing. You use cycle by day 30, and you save it. So you can see that all the settings that we did on AI DCA Pro is the same as Martingale, except the mass order, which is 2, and the size multiple, which is 2. That's only different. Then once you are through with the setting, the same way you do your initial position, you come here, you also multiply by, you also divide the capital by 10. Okay, divide by 10. Then whatever it gives you is what you're going to have here. So on the $100 capital, you're still going to have the same thing that we did here. We need to have 10 here, where we have 8. BNB, the default is showing $8.0. So we have to adjust what we have here to see that it gives us 10. Our adjustment to use 15 has given us 12. Let's use 13 and see. 0.013 gives us 10.4. Let's use 0.012 and see. This one gives us 9.6. Okay, let's add another 5 and see what it is. So you can see that 0.0 on BNB, 0.0125 gives us 10.0. So exactly what we need. This is how you set the trade. Once you have divided the initial position by your capital, use it to place the trade. And you click on launch and you have launched this trade. If I click on launch right now, this trade is launched. Then you can see it's showing waiting, all right, on Martingale. So on a particular account, listen, on a particular account, you can have both AI DCA and Martingale running. So on the 5 coins, for example, you can choose to have 5, you can choose to have 3 coins on Martingale and 2 coins on AI DCA Pro. You can choose to have 2 coins on AI DCA Pro and 3 on Martingale. It depends on how you want to set your trade. So you can have the 2 strategy running on your trade. While the other one is running on Martingale, the other one can be running on AI DCA Pro. You can also adopt that. It's also beautiful. Okay. You can also have all the coins in AI DCA Pro. You can also have all of them in Martingale. You can also, use both strategies simultaneously by dividing the coins, probably 2 on Martingale and the rest on AI DCA Pro, so that you enjoy the benefit of the Martingale and the benefit of the AI DCA Pro, depending on what you want. Like you can see, I have launched Dogecoin on AI DCA Pro, and I've also launched BNB on Martingale. And both of them are running simultaneously, running at the same time. All right. So we are done with these settings. Now, I want to talk about the edge mode. With the time that I have left, then we will call it a day. I've already done like an hour explaining this. So now, edge mode as, let's go to the edge mode now proper. Edge mode as a risk management technique. A lot of times when I noticed in the group during the time of the dump and all of that, when people were running helter skelter, looking for a way to add more money and all of that, those periods, all you would have just done is to set your leverage, release your leverage, and edge the account. Edge mode or edging is the surest, the surest way of protecting your account in the event of emergency. When the market is against you, the surest way to protect your account is by edging the account. There is no other risk management technique that is efficient, that is more efficient than edging the account. So edging is the most efficient risk management technique in the event of emergency, when the trade is against your direction. By edging, we simply means to place the opposite direction of that trade, of that asset, to place the opposite direction of that asset. Long positions here. If the market is against me, let's say the market is against me on XROP, all I need to do is to come here. All I need to do is to come here and place a short position on SROP. So I will come here, go straight to my AI DCA Pro, click on SROP, click on short position, click on my AI DCA. click on my leverage, use the maximum leverage as well. In this case that you want to hedge, let's say for example, the market is going down, going down, and you need to protect your account from liquidation. Okay, you don't have money to top up. So the only thing you can do, the only option that is left for you is to use the available balance to hedge the account. That is to lay short position. If you're on short position and the market is going up, then your long position becomes your edge. All right. So in this case, that the market is against me on SROP, and I want to edge it, I'll just come to lay the short position the same way in this case, you're going to use immediate, because it's an emergency. You don't need to use auto. If you use auto, it has to wait before it will pick the trade. But here, when you are entering to edge, you have to enter the market immediately, because you are on a rescue mission. You're on a rescue mission. So you don't wait for auto. You come immediately, you leave it on immediately. Then two major things you will set. Two major things you set. You don't even need to run through all the parameters here and there. You just come to the mass order and use mass order one. Mass order one. Then you move straight to the take profit and set the take profit at a very high margin. You can even use 50. You can even use 90 as your take profit. These are the two things you need to set. You don't even need to bother yourself about size multiple and price gap and all the rest of them and the running trade. You don't even need to bother yourself about all of this, because as long as the mass order is one, the bot cannot execute any other trade. So that is to say, in that case, the size multiple, the price gap, they are inconsequential. As long as the bot does not trigger, once you use one mass order, you have shut the bot from taking any action in terms of taking more position. So you don't need to set mass order. You don't need to set size multiple. You don't need to set price gap. They are not necessary, because you've already blocked them by mass order one. So the only reason you will set take profit high is because you don't want to take profit. That short position has come to block the market from depleting your available balance. So you have not just come to take profit, you have just come to block. It's like a man that whose roof is off in the rainy period. What do you do when your roof is off, or you have leakage on your roof? You don't need to bother carrying the televisions and the things and all of that from the house. As long as that roof is not covered and you're bothering packing things from the house, the rain will still be coming into the house. So the first thing you do is to find a way to temporarily block the rain from coming in. So that was what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do in this respect is that you're trying to stop your available balance from being depleted. Because if it's completely exhausted, that is liquidation. So the only way to block it is to open the opposite channel. In this case, a short position. So after setting only your mass order and your take profit, which is very important. So because of that, you don't want the bot to take profit, because if you use a smaller take profit, let's say 1%, that means the market will only go down by 1% and the bot will disappear. The short position will disappear. And it means the effectiveness of what you have done is nonsense. Because what the short position has come to do is to stay there, to absorb the heat that is coming to the available balance. So you don't need to be in a hurry to remove it until the market changes. So when you notice that the market is started going down and you are all on long position, and there's a need for you to place a short position, and your available balance is reducing drastically, you place a short position. When you place a short position, you set it this way: set a higher take profit, so that it will continue to be there like a standby, like a policeman monitoring your account from being depleted. Okay? When the market has gone to that point, when the market begins to reverse, you can now close the short position. So the long position will be open. I knew when the market was reversing, I was coming down. I placed some short position for myself. If I had announced in the group that we should place short position, maybe in the time of pulling it off as the market started going up, I might not remember to inform us. You might not remember, and it start carrying a valuable balance of, floating loss upwards. But what I'm trying to say is that this is the medium by which you can save your account. You don't need to top up any money when your market is going down. You don't need to top up. It's not necessary to top up. That available balance that you have is enough for you to edge the account. Okay? It's enough to edge the account. Once you edge the account, you can go to sleep. You can go to rest. You can go to sleep. I'm going to talk about 3 types of edging. Okay? But I wanted to understand what edge means in terms of risk management, in safeguarding your account. So this is what you're supposed to do. Now, if you look at this trade, for example, let me click on this SROP. You can see the leverage. Now, the first thing you do, if for those of us in that you're still using the old strategy where you have 10x as the leverage and smaller leverages like 5x and all of that, 2s, 1s, what you do is that you come here and click on leverage. Okay, and click on leverage. Once you click on leverage, if you're using a smaller leverage, you pull it to the maximum. Once you pull it to the maximum and save, it will pull out all those your money that is on your account. It will pull it out so that you have enough available balance to do your edging. Okay, because that is why you see most times, if you understand, when we are still using the old strategy, you see insufficient balance, it talks about insufficient balance and all of that. That means the bot cannot use more money because there's no more money available, because all of them is inside the market. But when you use the maximum leverage, let's say you are on 1x or 3x on a particular coin, if you modify it to the maximum leverage, it will release all the money that is on that particular coin. It will release, and you see your available balance will just shoot out. You can experiment it if you are on any coin and you're using smaller leverage. If you're using 2x, 3x, 10x, 5x, 25x, experiment this and you realize that the money that your coin was holding will shoot out and all will be part of your valuable balance. And that is the money that you can use to do your edging in case you don't have enough available balance to edge. Remember, this is in event of an emergency. When your available balance is going down, the market is going against you, and you don't know what to do. You don't have more money to add. This is what you are supposed to do to edge the account, to place the opposite direction of that market and leave it. Okay? Now, there are 3 types of edging I'll quickly talk about very fast. The first one I call the lesser edge or the lower edge. The lesser edge, or you can call it the lower edge. Okay? Now, with the lesser edge, what you're saying is that you are edging lower than what is on the market currently. That is what you mean. For example, what is on this SROP is 54. Is 54. So if I want to do a lower edge on SROP, I will be doing 54 divided by 2, which is about 25, 26 thereabout. So if I'm doing a lower edge, it means I am doing half of what is on the current market. Remember, if I am edging XROP that has 54 as initial position, if I want to edge it with a lesser edge or a lower edge, it means the short position I am going to place will be lower than what is on the long position. Okay, it will be half of what is on the long position. So in this case, I will do $25 as my edge, as my lesser edge. Is that clear? So the initial position I'm going to place here on my short position to edge it is 25 if I want to do lesser edge. Now, what lesser edge does is that it gives you room to get profit. It gives you room for the market to appreciate if the market goes up in your direction. For example, if I have $25 in short position on SROP, it means that when the market is going up, the long position will be accruing some profit because there is $50, $54 on the long and $25 on the short. So even though the short will be pulling some floating losses, the long will be making more profit because there's extra $25 that is on the long. Okay. Now, the second edge mode is equilibrium edge. The second one I call equilibrium, which is equal equilibrium edge, which is equal edge. Okay, that's a situation whereby you edge the same thing that is on the current trade. When you edge the same amount that is on the current trade, that is equilibrium edge. So in this case, applying equilibrium edge in this case is that on SROP, I am going to edge $54 too, or $50. Whatever is on the SROP is what I'm going to edge. So when I edge $50 that is already on the long position and I place short position and it's $50, it means the same thing on the long, it's the same thing on the short. That's the complete lockdown. With that, if the market goes up or goes down, I am neither making profit or loss. That's the difference. Remember, in the lesser edge, if the market goes down, I'll be making losses, but I'll be losing half of what is on my long because I have $50 on my long and my short has $25. So if the market is going down, I will be losing $50. What I have succeeded in doing is to reduce the pressure on available balance by half. So that pressure that would have been on the available balance by $50 on it with the long position, I have reduced it by $25 short position. So the available balance will only be reduced by the $25 extra. That is for lesser edge. But on equilibrium edge, I have locked both short and long with the same amount. So if the market is going down, I'm not making profit, I'm not making losses. If the market is going up, I'm not making profit, I'm not making losses. It's a complete shutdown. With that, if you edge equilibrium edge, you will just edge your account and go and sleep. Even if Bitcoin goes down by any amount, this market will not be liquidated. You have locked front and back. You have locked both front and back. If the market goes up by any length, you will not make profit. You will not make losses. If the market goes down to anywhere, Bitcoin can choose to even go down to 80,000. It's none of your business. You will not make profit. You will not make losses. The market is locked. You will only see the equivalent of what is supposed to be in your long, in your short. All right. Then the final one is the higher edge. The higher edge. Okay. That is when you edge above the current market, the current trend. In this case, when you have $54 on SROP and you edge $60, you edge 70, 80, 90, or 100. So when you have short position that is above $54, that is a lesser edge. When you have such short position of $60, of 100, of 80, that is a higher edge. You do that when you are sure of the market, that as the market is going down, you want to make some profit. So if you place, for example, $100 on short position, as the market is going down, that short position is not only edging the long, it's also making profit for you with the extra that is on it. Okay. The disadvantage is that when the market returns and start going up, remember you have more on the short than long. So the short will be accumulating the profit, the losses of a higher amount than the long. That is the disadvantage. Okay, so there's a lesser edge, equilibrium edge, and a higher edge. That is how you protect the account. Now, even as I've explained, you can also answer the question. You can also understand that the edge is not just a risk management measure to protect your account, it's also a profit-making mechanism. How do I mean? If you use a higher edge, you are not only protecting your account, you're also making profit. If I come here and I discover that the market is going down, SROP is going down, and I place $100 short position on SROP, what I'm saying is that as the market is going down, my short will be in profit. I'm also making money. In addition to blocking the SROP from taking my available balance, I'm also making money because I have extra on the short that is more than what is on the long. So it has also served for me a profit-making mechanism. Okay, so that is what edge is all about. But edging is primarily a risk management technique to protect your account from liquidation. So that is why when I talk about that our strategy is a zero liquidation strategy, what I mean in essence is that the worst case scenario, after we have exhausted all our mass orders, remember in our strategy, it will take the market to go down by 83% before we are liquidated. Remember our last discussion. It will take the market to go down. If you follow our strategy the way it is, it will take the market to go down by 83% before we are liquidated. So the reason why I keep saying that we cannot be liquidated is because I know there is edge as a risk management technique. So the worst case scenario, let's even assume that the market continues to go down, and we have already gone down by 10%, by 20%, by 30%, by 40%. Once we get to 40%, we are going to edge the account. We are going to edge the account. You understand? So by edging the account, we have done all the blockage, and there will be no liquidation anywhere. All right. So that is why we keep emphasizing that we cannot be liquidated, because we know that we have solution even when the market is against us, we have techniques to protect the account, and edging is one of them. All right. Now, let me also let us know, most of us are yet to understand why we use a higher leverage. Now, do you know, you can do the experiment yourself and confirm, if you have 50, you're using 50s leverage. If you're using 50s leverage and 100 initial position, if your initial position is 100 and your leverage is 50, do you know that if you place that trade, what is going to leave your available balance is $2. $2. If you have $100 capital and you're using 50s leverage and you are placing $100 as your initial position, what will leave your trade is $2. $2. $2. Now, if you are placing the same trade, the same $100 trade, the same $100 initial position, and you are placing it on 10x leverage, 10x leverage, what is going to leave your capital is $10. It's $10. You can do the experiment. If you're using 10x and you're using initial position of 100, $10 is going to leave your capital. Do you understand? $10. So if you have $100 capital, if you have $100 capital and you want to place 5 trade, like we have our 5 coins, and you're using 10x, it means you will only place 5 trade, because you only place 10 trades. Once you place 10 trades, you have exhausted your $100. You cannot place more than 10 trades because each of them takes $10. But with higher leverage like 50 and $100 initial position, what is leaving your capital is $2. So with that, you can even place 25 trade and 30 trade. You understand? You can place more trade because you have more money. Because you have more money. So do you know also how safe is this strategy? Is to the extent that the using $100 as a case study. If you place the 5 coins, let's say the market, your bot goes to the market with the five coins at the same time. At the same time, do you know that the total money, you will be shocked that the total initial position, the total value that will leave your $100 is $1. Yes, you heard me, $1. $1. You can experiment it. That is if it's even 50x leverage. If it's 50x leverage, because 50x leverage by 50 is $1. By 100 is $2. So the 5 coins by 10 is $50. That means if you place 5 trade with $100, what you are spending, what is leaving your capital is $1, just $1. You have 99. So how in that market can you have the fear of liquidation? And also remember, this same market is capable of giving you over 30% at the end of the month. For those of us that have run it for this period, we know that it's possible to make 30% and above every month. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that the reason why we use a higher leverage is so that we use smaller amount from our capital and reserve the rest as a valuable balance to withstand the trade. Okay, I think I will end so far. Then maybe in taking questions, I will clear every other one. But the most important thing that I wanted us to share today is the fact that we have a measure to further assure ourselves of the safety of our funds, which is edge mode, edge mode or edging. By edging, we are not afraid of liquidation anymore. If anything happens, we edge our account and go and sleep and drink coffee and come back the next day to come and see what's happening. Maybe you are expecting money. Maybe instead of running around to look for money to go and buy USDT and put and add to your trade, you edge it and go and rest. You can edge it with a lesser edge. You reduce the pressure. You can edge it with the equilibrium edge. You balance the equation. You are not making profit. You are not making losses. You want to rest for a while and observe. You can also edge it with a higher edge and make profit in the downtrend. So that is how the business works. So what you need to do is you need to understand when to remove the edge when the time comes, because the edge is supposed to be there temporarily to protect the account at that period, to protect the available balance from depleting. So the moment the market begins to reverse in your direction, in your original direction, you pull off the edge. Of course, when the market is going up, you always be aware. We always talk about the market is picking up in the group. Once you realize the market is going up, you pull off the edge. In most cases, when you're pulling off that edge, you see profit on it. Yes, you see profit on it.